Hey, all you comic book readers and true believers, it's Tuesday, and I'm your friendly neighborhood combo guy, Mitch Harmon. You guys know what's up. Mitch's Picks. For Marvel Comics, Star Wars, Bounty Hunters, #1, written by Ethan Sachs, art done by Paolo Villanelli. This book actually takes place in between, just like the new Star Wars and the new Darth Vader, takes place in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Years ago, Bounty Hunters Bosk, Boba Fett, and Valance all teamed up with 3 other bounty hunters to take on this big job. Bounty hunters, they just go around bounty hunting people. But in the process of this one job, one of the other bounty hunters betrayed everybody else and has really made enemies, not the best people, Bosk and Boba Fett is particularly. Years later, though, everyone's off doing their own thing. Boba Fett has captured Carbonite, Han Solo. Bosk is doing his own thing. Valance, well, we saw what recently was going on with Valance in the comic books and whatnot. But come to find out, some new intel has popped up. They know where this bounty hunter betrayed the 3 of them is at. And now it seems almost like the 3 of them are meeting back up to try to take down this one person, even going as far as willingly do it for free. This is the new Star Wars series coming out. January was Star Wars, February was Darth Vader, this one for March, and then Dr. Aphra will be in April. These are the new Star Wars books taking place in between Empire and Jedi. So if you just like to get more of that story, guys, definitely want to pick this up. Check it out. From Archaea Comics, Jim Henson's Storyteller, Ghosts, #1, written and drawn by Mark Laszlo. If you guys have never read any of the other Storyteller comics, you are missing out. Each one, there's a fairies, a dragons, a giants, a witches. There's all different types of creatures from the supernatural, I guess you could say, fantasy and whatnot. And this is the beginning of the ghosts. Each one of these stories, there's going to be 4 parts to the series, and they each focus on a different lore of a ghost. This one is called the Myling. It is a Scandinavian lore about how it's really awful, guys, is how the children who will die, who have an extreme amount of pain, and they won't allow their soul to pass on until they actually have settled their own. And this one follows a particular story of a set of twin brothers, one who passes, the other one who lives a full life, and the haunting that he kind of goes through. Like I said, each issue, so there's going to be 4 different ghost stories here. But if you guys like this, there are already several other paperbacks out of, like I said, witches, dragons, giants, so on and so forth. Really good stuff, nice art, and it's part of the Jim Henson line, so you know it's going to be good, guys. Check it out. For Marvel Comics, Cable, #1, written by Jerry Dugan, art done by Phil Noto. This is a new story following young Cable. For those of you who have not been following, Old Man Cable is gone and dead pretty much for the most part. But a younger version of Cable came back in the Extermination story arc, I believe, and has been part of this mutant Krakoa stuff going on. And actually, the book starts with him fighting Wolverine in the quarry, because everyone has to fight Wolverine apparently. However, in this story, Cable he's just enjoying his time as a youngin, I suppose, and in the process of just kind of enjoying himself, finds out that 2 young mutants have gone missing, and him, Armor, and Pixie have gone out to try to look for him. Come across this giant manticore-looking thing that has a giant sword in his paw, very much of the elephant or the lion and the mouse storyline, I guess you could say. But he pulls this sword out. Come to find out that it is a Space Knight blade that was put here hundreds of thousands of years ago on Earth, and now has been found. But also it has awakened a lot of these other Space Knights that are now coming back to get the sword. A lot going on in this issue. Still ties into all the X-Men stuff that's going on, but obviously this story is going to follow around young Cable and his new space sword that he's going to have. He even makes a point to talk about how Old Man Cable is into guns, and he's always wanted a big, expletive-deleted sword. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Really great Phil Noto art, and it's Jerry Dugan, guys. Guy's been around for a long time, writing a lot of great stories. Check it out. From Image Comics, Decorum, #1, written by Jonathan Hickman, art done by Mike Huddleston. This is the new book coming out of Image Comics, new Jonathan Hickman book, and if you guys have never read Jonathan Hickman books, you are in for, well, a surprise. There's a lot of world building going on this. Those of you who read Jonathan Hickman books know that there's a lot of world building that goes into all of his #1s, and even more so later on down the series, but usually has a very good payoff, and this one is no different. This is set, I'm assuming, in the very, very far distant future, where there have been these Goldilocks planets kind of. Because of the great expansion of Earth, we have to move on to these other planets and find other planets, and we have to make them habitable for our own life forms and so on and so forth. And one of these planets lives Nia Sod, who is trying to, we can only assume it's her little brother, but it could be another different family member. But this person has been put into a cryostasis because I'm at least assuming here, they've been infected by this called the 7th wave plague, which was actually a bioengineered plague that was used for kind of chemical warfare. They released this plague, try to get all these rogue planets to come underneath their rule, and then they would give them the cure for this 7th wave plague. But not everybody was being cured, and also some people decided to get their hands on it and not use it for warfare, use it on just everyday people. And Nia Sod has become a courier who is trying to make money, enough money to where she can cure this, I'm assuming a little brother of hers, from the 7th wave plague. And in doing so, she takes on a very dangerous job, a courier, to deliver to this, well, it's called the priority package, not really sure. She kind of walks into the middle of what she refers to as a murder party, where everyone's pointing guns at each other, and she's not really sure what's going on. But she comes face to face with Imogen Smith Morley, who apparently is working for the some type of syndicate, some type of underworld place that has kind of been pulling strings from behind the curtain, so to speak, on big jobs and whatnot. And she has been put into this place to try to negotiate with one of these underworld mob bosses, I guess you could say. Like I said, there's a lot that goes into this. I've read this book twice, and I'm still kind of like hazy on some of the material, so I'm going to be going back and reading it a third time. But wonderful Mike Hiddleston art. There were some pages that looked like it was maybe not finished, but I think maybe that was the style of it. But the pages that do look nice, colored, and finished, beautiful art, guys. And it's Hickman, so you know there's going to be a payoff. It's just going to take a long time to get out there, guys. But it's a new Image book, so I highly recommend everyone pick this up. Check it out. From DC Comics, Just Imagine Stan Lee, trade paperback. Written by Stan Lee, art done by Jim Lee, Joe Kubert, Sal Buscema, many other people, guys. This book is actually a collaboration of a lot of different people who were working at DC at the time and Stan Lee. Basically, Stan Lee takes a swing at writing for the Justice League. He's got a Batman story, a Wonder Woman story, a Green Lantern story, a Flash story, and I also believe a JLA story that's in this as well. Basically, he's taking the stories of these original characters and then putting his own Stan the Man mix on it, I guess you could say. And also has artists that are, like I said, were prolific at the time in DC and still prolific to this day. Jim Lee's still a pretty big name in the comics, not to mention just the DC universe. This is just fun little books to kind of read. There's not really an ongoing series or anything of this. It's just kind of like how would Stan write this type of character and whatnot. And then, like I said, a lot of cool looking art in this, guys. They have the whole paperback, and I think they have even an omnibus as well. But we got this one in, guys. Check it out. That's all my picks for this week, everyone. Keep reading your comics, true believers. See you guys next week.